Some days feel unbearably heavy. Tragedy, loss, or even just the fear of starting over can shake us to our core. When I heard of the tragic loss of Charlie Kirk this past week, just 31 years old, a devoted husband and father, I quickly hopped on my phone with my own family, and we were all heartbroken. We shared things like, "This is such a sad day, such a heavy day. What is going on? Why? What was this for?" And there really is just something sacred about the family bonds. And so for this family, their world has been torn apart in an instant. So today I want to pause and hold silence and compassion for his wife and children as they step into unthinkable grief. And I think if you're listening and you've experienced your own grief, it's one of the hardest journeys someone can take. And it's up and down, it's all over the place. So, speaking of his wife, Erica Kirk, we can only imagine that the road ahead for her will be very difficult. But here's the truth: a strong woman is more than her resilience. She is a force of grace and grit, someone who carries storms with steady hands and still makes room to lift others as she climbs. So, moments like this just remind us of how fragile this life is and how quickly everything can change. If you've ever been through a season where the ground beneath you suddenly shifted, whether it's through a loss, a fresh start, or just the fear of stepping into something new, you know that feeling. Your chest gets tight with fear, your mind is racing, you're losing sleep, and you're just thinking about all the reasons why it might not work. And yet the question still lingers: how do you keep moving forward? Hey, it's Rachel, and welcome back to the Daily Champ, the show about what it takes to reset your life, rise up, and champion yourself in the process. So here's my question for you: what would it look like to start fresh and feel steady even when anxiety is loud? How do you keep moving forward without letting fear drive the car? So, today we're talking about what happens when anxiety shows up during a pivot or a fresh start, and how to use the right tools to stay grounded and build a champion mindset. So, I'm going to share 5 practical stories and tools. All right, story number 1: when the what ifs get loud. What's a good tool for that? We're going to call it breath and body regulation. When I left corporate, okay, I didn't leave corporate, I was let go. I had to either get another job pretty quickly, but I didn't. I actually launched Champcast. So at the time, my brain was full of what ifs. What if I fail? What if people look at me and think, what are you doing? That anxiety just loves uncertainty, right? So a good tool for moments like that is just simply physical grounding. When your body feels safe, your mind can follow. So, when I was let go from my corporate job and I didn't really have a next plan, I did take 3 days. I was at a lake. I enjoyed nature. I just felt the calmness, and I did receive the clarity. So it's like when your body feels safe, your mind can follow. And so for me, that really does look like nature. It also looks like fitness, boxing. I bring up boxing quite a bit. I actually took a great class today. I'm going to give a shout out to East Bay Boxing. Wow, we had a phenomenal class. And as I was mentioning earlier, that all the things that we were hearing this week was so heavy. It wasn't just what happened to Charlie Kirk, it was everything that happened after. And I will tell you, I was up till 3, 2 a.m. some mornings, just kind of taking it all in. So today I took a break from the social media and I jumped into a boxing class. And once I was done, I said to my girlfriend, Victoria, she's amazing. I was like, man, I really needed this. Because sometimes that anxiety, it's as simple as, working out or some deep breathing, especially before a client pitch. Okay. Your nervous system really can't strategize when it thinks you're in danger. So that tool is just to calm the body first. All right, story number 2, overthinking big decisions. What's a good tool for that? Setting micro goals and doing your due diligence. I've made mistakes by rushing into some decisions without enough research. And it's because the anxiety of not saying yes right away made me feel like I had to jump before the window closed. So a good tool for that is to pause and break the big goals into micro steps. Do the research, ask the hard questions, make a tiny first move like one coffee meeting or a test project before making the big leap, because action can cure anxiety when it's being thoughtful, not frantic. Number 3, the story is the fear of being seen. What's a good tool for that? It's creating a safe support circle. So when I first started sharing my story through this podcast, through videos, I really wanted to shrink. It took me a year to get in this seat. And, I guess some anxiety is like, no, you can't do it. And it kept making me ask, who am I to do this? So the tool for that is to really curate some safe voices around you. And I did lean on trusted friends and mentors who reminded me, why I should start, or who reminded me why I started. So you don't need everyone's opinions. You just need a few people who speak truth, people who get a front row seat to your pivot. Okay, story number 4, analysis paralysis. I think you've heard this one before, right? Just paralyzed by that next step you're supposed to make, or that next decision, or that next conversation you're supposed to make. So a good tool for that is to go through your values and sit down with those reflection questions. I did mention a few questions in episode 2, so if you want to check that one out. And it's because anxiety can freeze you. Should I stay? Should I go? I've been feeling stuck. I'm wondering what if this pivot I'm making is going to disappoint people? And you could have tons of thoughts around that. So the tool is gaining clarity through your values, writing down your top 3 values and asking weekly, does this move align with matters most to me? What's mine to carry? What's not mine to carry? When your decisions align with your values, anxiety has less room to control the narrative. I think we should say that again. When your decisions align with your values, anxiety has less room to control the narrative. And story number 5, the pressure to get it perfect. The tool for that, show up anyway. When I launched the Daily Champ, I thought it had to be perfect. Perfect logo, perfect voice. And you know what's happening? It's the anxiety just wants you to wait until you feel ready. Well, you are ready. And even if you're not perfect, you are ready. So the tool is imperfect action with self-kindness. Champions don't wait to feel fearless. They show up scared and keep going. So yeah, if you have to start messy, just adjust later. Your courage grows with action. So let's just be real about it. Starting over is brave. Awesome. Pivoting is brave. Awesome. And yes, anxiety will try to take first seat. But that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It just means you're doing it human. So the difference between self-sabotage and self-championing, and I talked about this in my first episode, is choosing tools that help you move forward instead of letting fear freeze you. So ask yourself, which one of these tools do I need most right now? Is it calming your body? Is it curating your circle? Or is it taking one small step today? And you don't need to have it all figured out to pivot. You just need honesty, courage, and a willingness to show up. That's how you champion yourself and your next chapter. To that point, if you want to talk about those questions together, please join my Facebook group, also called The Daily Champ, where we keep the conversation going daily. If today's episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need this reminder too. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss what's coming next. Thanks for listening to The Daily Champ.